Hey, everybody. Welcome to Elevate Us, Elevating Black America, talking about these things that most people don't want to talk about, but the truth is the truth, and we're going to talk about it. Hold on a second. We are going to be talking today about aliens. And before I get into that, I'm just going to hold on. If you guys are on Facebook Live, you can come in, you can ask questions, you can give me some comments, some feedback, and let me know what you think about this subject. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about a bunch of other stuff. I am going to ask the question of the day, and the question of the day is, do you believe in life on other planets? Do you think that there's something else out there? Do you think we're alone? So let me know. Just say, you know, yeah, I think there's something else out there, or no, I think it's, the government's playing tricks on us, or whatever it is you think it is. Just tap into the comments and let me know what you think, all right? So, okay, good. We got some people coming in. All right. So, I'm pretty much going to start like this. Do I think that there's other life forms out there? Absolutely, yes. And just, it's a lot that's been going on in the last, I'm going to say in the last year, really. But from the time I've been in Las Vegas, I got here in 1998. And when I first got here, I lived in Sunrise Mountain, and I used to see so much happening in the sky. And I really didn't know what was going on, at that time. I was just looking up and I'm like, is there spaceships up here? Because it was so much activity going on near that mountain. And there was a few people that were there with me. We witnessed some things together, but didn't talk much about it because when you talk about aliens and spaceships and all this other stuff, people want to deem you as being crazy, So if you see things, you see it and you just kind of tuck it away in your mental Rolodex and you don't bring it out. But, first I'm going to say that the I've spoke about this before, but if you have, studied ancient civilization and kind of that the people that the aliens look, I'm just gonna say it, whatever, let me stop. I'm gonna stop beating around the bush. Listen, there was aliens that came to this planet Earth. They were the Anunnakis. They're the ones that created the human race alongside, we have our creator. So don't think that I'm taking God out of the scenario. We know that our creator is the creator of the all creation. But when you think about who these Anunnakis were and who this alien race were, they were actually giving the power to help out with the creation. That's why when you read in the Bible and when it says, God says, let us make man in our image, and those are very specific words. So if God was just talking to himself and he was just doing this alone, then it would have said that God said, I'm making man in my image. But it doesn't say that. It says, let us make man in our image. It says that very specifically. So when you read that, you know that there is other people involved in this. So when we're talking about people being made in the image of, we are talking about people that came here from another planet, and those are the Anunnakis. We've heard about it from time to time. People here, we've heard about it over the years, and a lot of times people want to dispel these things because the government has us so programmed to think that these are conspiracy theories and that this stuff isn't real. But the funny thing about it is the government knows 100% that it's real. If you go to Egypt, you go look into the pyramids, you're going to see it in the hieroglyphs. You'll see it all in the pyramids. They left very clear and very distinct writings on the wall letting us know that there was a time of giants. During that time of giants, those people that came here, or those beings, I keep saying people, those beings that came here They created the human race here on this planet to mine for gold. And that was the main purpose that human beings were made for, was to mine for gold. We were made to be slaves and we were made to be subservient. So it was later on down the line when we realized that one of the gods came to us and told us that we were higher up than what we thought. We were not equal to the animals and that we had the right to think on our own and that we could do certain things. Is when we came out of that thinking and we came to the understanding, we realized, hey, we're naked, and we realized that we had a higher intelligence and that we can do things for ourselves. So I could go on and on about these stories in the Bible. I'm not going to do that today because that's not what the conversation is. So, I know people are probably scratching their head at me right now, like, what is she talking about? But trust me, it's a bigger backstory. I think I talked about it one time, but I can get into it again on another show. So, anyway, when I got here in 1998, and in the Sunrise Mountain area, there was a lot of activity going on. And through the years, I've always seen stuff going on in the skies here in Las Vegas. And just think about this. We live in Las Vegas, Nevada. In Las Vegas, there is Area 51. Area 51 is here for a reason. Okay, Area 51 is here because there is so much activity that goes on in this airspace between the desert of California, Nevada, and Arizona. There's so many different things happening in the sky that even right now the Pentagon, just in the last year, they have received 650 reports of alien spaceships in the sky. Hold on. And that's from CNN.com. And that was on April 19th, 2023. The government has tracked 650 UFO cases. So it's so many of them right now that they can't even contain it. There's so many people calling, so many people having different sightings, seeing different things, right? So we know now, even more recently, the people that just said that there was something that crashed and burned and landed in their backyard, and there were beings in their backyard he said they were 8, 9, 10 foot tall, so he actually seen these beings and he made almost, contact with them. So on March 28th, and that's where I'm going to get into what happened with me and my son. March 28th, there are 5 planets aligned. So we decided, me and my son and my daughter, we were going to go to Sunrise Mountain and we're going to go see the planets align. So we get up there and the sun was out a little bit. We wanted to get there early just to make sure we could see the first planet when it came out. So sun starts to go down, we see the first planet. And then as it gets darker, when we first got there was like a lot of cars lined up out there with us. And we're all just, everybody's out there just looking around. And so we stayed, it got darker. And then eventually all the cars had started to leave. And I think there was maybe 3 or 4 cars left out there with us. So we're looking up and I look up in the sky and I see 2 different things moving around in the sky. So they're kind of going vertical, then they're going horizontal. And then the other one comes and it's doing the same pattern. So they're doing a specific pattern in the sky. So I'm looking up and I'm watching it. And at the same time, I'm not paying attention. But my son, he's like, Mom, 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 until finally he's like almost screaming my name. And then he said, look. And I looked up and over my head, it was the largest spaceship. And I don't know if you'll be able to see. Let me see if I can get, this is just what we drew, afterwards. But so it was like just the biggest spaceship was over our head. And so what I saw, there were black panels on the bottom of it, but then there was red lights going around. And then on the front and in the back, there was a green light. And it was like a surreal moment, because I just stopped and I looked up. But he seen it from the very beginning when it first started coming towards him. So the way he described it is what you would see in a movie. It had the dome and it was circular shaped, and it was pretty much what I saw from the bottom view, but he saw the lights going around it. And so it goes over my head and it goes over Sunrise Mountain. And so we're both kind of sitting there in shock, like, what the heck did we just see? And maybe just a couple minutes later, this cloud comes from behind Sunrise Mountain, and the cloud moved, Like literally, it moved into a position. And then once it got to a position, it stopped and it just stood there. So then we looked at the cloud. And so then the cloud, it made this loud barge noise. It was like, and the sound was so large that it shook the car. It went through me. Like it wasn't like you can hear the sound just went through you. And he kind of described the same thing. So at first I looked around because I was like, is there something in the sky? I thought maybe there was like a ship or something flying around, but I didn't see anything. So then it did it again, and it was like, bah. It was like loud. It was like something from a movie. And then he said the sound is coming from the cloud, and I was like, no way. So then we looked up again, and the cloud literally was just sitting there. The cloud was not moving. So then I was like, I think we should probably leave now. And he's like, no, no, let's just wait. Let's see what's gonna happen. As a mother, I could tell you this: we gonna protect our kids, right? It don't matter. You got an animal coming at your kids, you're gonna fight it off. If there's somebody like an attacker or something coming, you're gonna fight it off. But if there's some aliens coming at my kids, I don't know how much protection I could give you. I don't know what I could do against that. Pretty much, I'm like, we need to get the heck up out of here. I was like, if it does that sound again, I was like, we need to go. And sure enough, when I said it, it did it again. It was like bomb. So that was my cue. It was like, okay, let's get out of here. So we start driving. We start driving back, and the cloud is there. It's almost like kind of. I'm not gonna say it was moving with us, but the cloud was just still kind of in the same position that it was in. So as we're driving down Sunrise Mountain, it's still making the sound and we could still hear it as we're driving down, right? So we come down from the mountain, we get a little bit closer back into the city, and it did it again. But now as we get down, like I had pressure fill up in my head, and my head started to hurt. And then on my right side, my ear, it felt like like so much pressure was in my ear, it almost felt like it was getting ready to pop. And then I felt something in my throat because I was like, I was like something scratching in my throat. I didn't even know what was going on. So then as we got down the mountain and we're driving, I could hear everything. I could hear electricity going through the wires. I could hear little bugs. I could hear cars from far away. I heard people talking, and he was saying that he was experiencing the same thing. So we're just like hearing all these different noises, all this different chatter, and we're still hearing that thing making this loud noise, right? So then we went to Smith's. We stopped at the store because I was grabbing them something, but I was nauseated. I couldn't eat anything. I didn't feel good. My head had pressure in it. My ear felt like it was getting ready to pop. And so when we got into Smith's, it was like everything was moving in slow motion, and it didn't even feel like a real scene. It was like I can't even explain like what kind of scene we walked into. And then it just felt like everybody was like staring at us. It almost felt like I was on something. It felt like either it felt like something like literally got downloaded into me. I'm not even gonna lie. So then we got back home, and I looked in the mirror because in my throat I felt something, and it was bothering the back of my throat. So when I looked back there, it was like this white something was on the back of my tonsil, and I took a picture of it, and it was back there, and it really started to like it was irritating my throat. And then my ear almost felt like it was getting ready to pop, so I had to lay my head down to try to take some of the pressure off of it. And then I got some hydrogen peroxide, and I put it in the ear to try to relieve some of the pressure, which it did. It helped take some of the pressure down. But from that moment on, he kept saying that he wanted to go back up there because he wanted to see it again. And to me, that's some old Scooby Doo stuff. That's what they do. We don't do that. But yeah, I ended up we went back again. I know it sounds crazy. Yes, we went back, and when we went back again, we saw it wasn't the same thing, but we saw three lights in the sky, and that could have been the same exact night that people were calling and saying that they were seeing three lights in the sky. But what did we go back 2 times? Yeah, it was 2 times that we went back, and every single time that we went back there, there was something definitely in the sky that was one time it was like a light that started coming really close to us. And again, I got scared and I said, "Let's go," and we left. so just so you know, this is real. This is you can't make this stuff up. And now that I had him there with me to witness it, and then not only that, my daughter Alea, she's 14 and she's Down syndrome, most people know. But for what, 3 weeks she kept making that noise. For 3 weeks she kept going bah. Like every time we're in the car driving, she would make that noise. So, oh, and then that was something else that was funny. So, not funny, but when we were up there, she kept jumping back and forth from the front seat to the back seat. And I'm like, what is she? Like, I didn't know what she was doing. And she was like kind of panicking. She was kind of like, I know she was like kind of tripping out about it. But when we got home, she got home. And the minute she got to the house, she started drawing out a spaceship. And she drew something that was very similar to what we drew, but hers looked like it had little spaceships around it. And I can't post it on here, but I'll probably post it on my Facebook page. And then I'll just show you what she drew, and then I'll show you what me and my son drew, and then the cloud that we saw that was making the loud noise. So, say that again. Yeah, I can. Yeah, the email. Yeah. Okay. All right, I'll send the email. So, but just to let you guys know that for us to think right now in the world that we live in, we used to see all these different accounts and we would think it was country bumpkins out here, talking about, oh, the spaceship came and I got probed and all this other stuff. you know, we've heard these things for years and years and years, but we're always made to believe that we're crazy for seeing these things, or to even believe that it's real. But we have to realize that this planet that we're on, it's so much to it. It's so much that we don't understand. There's so much that is happening. There's so many stories that tell us the truth, but we don't want to look into the truth because we're conditioned not to look into the truth. So that's why it seems, so it seems so outrageous to us and so wild, because we have literally been conditioned with a specific truth. And we've also been conditioned with certain aspects of religion. But the funny part about it is the religion that they feed us is religion that they don't even follow themselves. So hold on a second. Okay, hold on. Okay, I'm gonna read some. So Robin said, last week here in Las Vegas, another family encountered a crashing that led to a third dimensional being in their backyard. Yep. And so I was kind of looking at some of the. Let's hear about that alien encounter. Okay, I did, Richard. um, yeah, so that's really where a lot of the reports have been coming in now. And from the time that happened in March, I just kind of, got into searching up all the different accounts that were happening here in Las Vegas. And it's a lot. It's a lot of reports that come out of here, and they really don't tell us all these different reports that come out of here. But if you go on Google, even Google Maps, and you start to pan out, and you go behind Sunrise Mountain. So when you go behind Sunrise Mountain, and then you kind of go and zoom back in, I don't know if it's a military base back there. I don't know what that is behind Sunrise Mountain, but there's these huge I don't know, they look like military airplanes, so I'm not quite sure what they are. But when we after I had started looking into certain things, and I went and I zoomed and I looked and I seen that big I don't know what kind of jet this was. It was the biggest jet I've ever seen on there. So we're driving and we looked up in the sky and we saw the jet flying, and I had never paid attention to it before. I don't know if it's ever been in the sky or not before, but both me and my son, we looked up and I was like, that's the jet that I just saw behind Sunrise Mountain. And it, like, even flying in the sky, This thing is huge. So there's a lot that goes on here that they cover up that they don't want us to know about. But right now, because there's it's so active that it's hard to keep account of all the stuff that's happening. So so I'm gonna tell you guys, hold on a second. So look this up. It's called Project Bluebeam, right? So I found out about Project Bluebeam in probably 20, I'm gonna say 2010, I think it was. And I don't know, I used to go on these random searches that used to take me down all these different rabbit holes. So the way Project Bluebeam is going to work is they're going to, it's a holographic air show that they will use to control people, and they will make you think that certain things are taking place in the sky. And it says that they're going to use different, holograms. They'll use different drones. They'll use all these different things to, number one, make you think that the coming of Christ is taking place. And this another way that they're going to usher in the new world order. So there's a lot of mind tricks that our government plays on us. And oh yes, oh my God, the government, they lie to us and they don't tell us the truth. I know a lot of people love to think that the government is there for you and they're here to protect you, but let me tell you something. Your government is not here to protect you. Your government is here to keep. There are certain families that we have in place in this country that are the ones, there's what, 100 people that run this world of 8 billion people. And these 100 people that's running this world, they make sure that the information that we receive keeps us so just programmed into this specific way of life that we don't look outside of the box and that we stay within a specific arena, so that we never look and see what they're doing or what they have going on. But they're doing all of this to have more control over you, to have control over what you do, control over your lifestyle, and to make sure that you stay where you're at, and to make sure that they stay that where they're at. So we have to understand that we are constantly, as people, as human beings on this planet, we're constantly under attack. It's a constant war that goes on with us and with the powers that be, just to make sure that they stay in power. That's all it's about. It's all about them staying in power. So these people, they know what exists. They know what's out there. They know that these beings have been there's from the very beginning. We're going all the way back to Mesopotamia. There has been alien beings on this planet all the way from the very beginning. They have been here, and at this point, people may say it sounds crazy, and they may think that I'm crazy for saying this, but they have been amongst us for a very long time. All right. And there's so many different reports that will tell us this. There's so many different things that give us these clues and this information. You just have to look into it. You have to read. You have to study. You have to start going deeper. You have to start going further than just trusting a source. You have to be the source. You have to do your research. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, you have to do your research and you have to look into these things, so that way you have the knowledge and the information for yourself. Stop depending on one source. Stop depending on, even there. I've read the Bible in its entirety several times, and not just reading the Bible. I think I've said this before, but I've taken Bible literature, I've taken theology, I've taken so many different research classes. So when I come to you and I tell you this information, I'm not just saying this just out of nowhere. I'm telling you this because this is what I've studied and this is what I know. So you have to go beyond just reading the Bible. There's more to it than just what the Bible tells us, and then you have to know how to read the Bible, because just like I said, when you read the Bible and you realize, before they give you the story of Adam and Eve, they tell you that male and female was created. So before there was even an Adam and Eve, there was male and female that was put on this planet, and they were spread throughout this earth. So start looking at things for, go a little bit deeper than what's being told to you. Start looking into it deeper for yourself, so that you have a better understanding and that you know who we are. It even goes into our blood types. if you start looking into our blood types and you understand that our blood type, which is a RH factor, right? So for those who don't know, the RH factor is the rhesus monkey. So if you're a RH positive, that means that you have the rhesus monkey blood type in you. If you're a RH negative, that means that you don't have the rhesus monkey blood in you. So if you are RH positive, that means that you come from the evolved man. There's two people, right? There's the evolved man on this planet, those that evolved from, and then there is the RH negative people, those who were created, right? So just in that alone, that tells you that those that were created from something not of this world. You can even look this up. Look up RH negative blood. They will tell you that it is alien blood. They will tell you it is an unknown blood source. And then they will also try to tell you that the RH negative blood type, they'll try to say that it's only, they're going to say it's 15% of the population, and they're going to say that it's about 5% of African or African Americans that have that blood type. That is not the truth. That's just what they want you to think. So the Rh positive blood type, which is evolved from monkeys, that is where you get your cavemen and where you get your, your people that come from the Caucasus Mountains. That's where evolution, the theory of evolution, comes in. When you got your Rh negative blood type, that is your created beings that were created from something other than this earth. And all of this just comes from research. All of this just comes from, you know, just opening up a Google search. And I've already given you a couple of things that you can Google search. Look up Enki, Enki, and Enlil, Enlil. Enki and Enlil, they are what were referred to as gods, right? When they came to this planet, well, here, let me go a little further back. so, so the first alien that came to this planet was Thoth, and Thoth was an Atlantean priest. And don't let me get you guys all, I don't want to get you too twisted up. You got to look this up for yourself. And Thoth is Thot. So when Thoth came to this planet, and he was actually, before Earth was a land mass, it was a water mass. And so through research, you'll learn that there was the city of Atlantis, and Thoth was an Atlantean king. Once the water started to recede and the landmass came up, he left. He went back to his original planet. When he came back here, then that's where the evolved people came, the cavemen. And I'm nervous telling this story because I know a lot of people are going to kind of look and say, what in the heck is she talking about? But all of this comes from studying the you have to study the Sumerian tablets and Mesopotamia. But when Thoth came back here and there were cave people here, he actually came back and he civilized them. Once he civilized these people and he taught them how to build societies and how to build politics and how to have running water systems and wash themselves and eat properly. Those were the people that he left in charge. So I don't want to go too deep into this because it does go very deep. But if you are interested in looking into these things, look up the Emerald Tablets. The Emerald Tablets will give you the story about this, and you can also look up the Apocrypha. The Apocrypha will tell you the beginning story. And what's another one? Oh, you can also look up the cuneiform, the Sumerian tablets. That's another one that will give you some of the origins of the earth and the first people that were here. So let me get off of that because I don't want people to think that I'm just going all the way left on a tangent. They're not understanding what I'm talking about. But what I want you to understand, if you take nothing else from this, is that aliens have been on this planet for a very long time. This is nothing new. All right? There has been aliens in our airspace for a long time. Even when you go to, if you look in on the oh Lord, the hieroglyphs, I'm sorry, they even show spaceships. So even back in Egyptian times, they were leaving behind pictures showing you that spaceships were coming to this planet. So this is nothing new, and honestly, I don't think it's anything for us to be afraid of, because the technology that they have, if they wanted to attack or do anything to us, they would have did it a long time ago. So, and if they do attack, what you gonna do? You really can't do nothing, because they have technology that goes far beyond what we have or what we know of. So just all we got to do is just continue living and ride the waves and not be afraid of what's on this planet and what's to come. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and stop right there, because I don't want everybody gonna be hitting me up asking me if I'm okay. But trust me, I'm okay. And everything that I've told you, this is all real stories, all real accounts, everything that I've been seeing. Honestly, I've been seeing stuff since I was a little girl, but really understanding what I was seeing once I got older and once I got here to Las Vegas. And once I got to Las Vegas is when I seen a lot of activity in the sky here. And I've had, through the years, I've had other people that have seen things with me, but for some reason, it just every time, trust me, when you go out there, if you look for something, you're gonna find it. All you got to do is go up to Sunrise Mountain. If you're bold enough, go up there for a little bit, stare up into the sky for a little bit, and I guarantee you're gonna see something, because there's a lot of stuff going on up there. There's a lot to see. All right, so that's it. I'm gonna cut it short today. I'm just that because I just wanted to come and tell this story. I got some other stuff that I'm gonna talk about next week, and next week I'm gonna tell you why I don't trust the doctors, and all of this is all to do with it's my story about Alea and what we had to go through with these doctors, with her having cancer and with her having diabetes. So we're gonna have a whole conversation of why I don't trust the doctors, and why we really need to get into healing ourselves, why we need to start learning about herbs. I'm actually working on a herb book right now that's gonna give you a full account of all the different herbs that you need to be using to heal yourself from all these different diseases out here. So we'll get into that next week when we talk about it. And then, other than that, don't be afraid of the aliens. If you have encounters with them, I would say, we don't know how to fight these things, so just be about, you know, don't be out here trying to fight with them, because they probably gonna win. I'm not fighting with them. That's what I told my son. I'm like, listen, we need to get up out of here, because if they snatch me up, or if they snatch you up, or they snatch your sister up, there's nothing I can do about that. And I'm not trying to fight no aliens out here. So, so I'm just trying to make peace and love with them, and let's be friends. So, all right, you guys, I will see you guys next Sunday at 6 o'clock right here at the same place on Elevate Us. And hold on, let me see. So, see if we have anything else. Oh, she said, yes, I saw the three crafts from the mothership with my own eyes. They do exist. The book of Ezekiel and Luke speaks on the chariot. Yes, it does. Some of them 1,500 bomber planes. And I'm just reading some of the comments here. All right. Thank you, Georgia. Great show. Salute. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And all right. That's it. All right. Well, thank you, everyone that tuned in. I appreciate you guys. And hopefully you continue to hang out with me, and I try to hit on these subjects. If there's something that you guys want to talk about, or you want me to talk about, just let me know in the comments, and I got you. All right. Okay, y'all. Peace out. Elevate us. I'll see you.